On that note, it says, this is called Life is More. Life is but a journey from early morning till dusk. Every day is a step closer to God that can lead us to trust, to live, die, and turn into dust, or to die and live for something greater. But it's up to me and you to savor the result. So jump in, hop on this elevator, reaching, climbing, staying hungry for better. No time to wait on the waiter, cause I'm here to serve you. If you're seeking to find, just ask and receive. Keep it 100, climbing the ladder. Getting closer to God is my prayer for every day. And even though the weight of the world up ahead may get heavier, through good and bad days, I must strive to break barriers, to get better and become the man that the Creator created me to be. Stay worry-free. Why should I settle for less, unless it's to make you greater for more? Until I'm in, I'm knocking on heaven's door. And I know I'm far from being perfect, but I pray for the forgiveness of my sins and for the grace to one day be worthy. I'll stay working and never give up. Instead, I'll pursue to inspire others to clutch their palms together, because we're two or more gathered to pray. Jesus says, I'm right there in the midst to gather your strength and pick you right back up once again. Just reach for my hand. All right. So that's the poems I picked, because Lissy lied to me. She said I had 20 minutes, but then she said I had an hour, so I had to go pick more. But it's a good lie. So now I'm gonna share with you this. I used to rap like a long time ago, and this one is it's based on life, trials and tribulations. Because like I said, life is gonna keep going, and life can either break you or make you.
Introducing the most comprehensive protection in travel, air cover. Always included and always free. Only on Airbnb.
So, like I said, this song right here is based on pretty much everything I just talked about, where I was, what I was going through, how I didn't understand, and how God has always been there. And now I just want to give him all the thanks, because I see the glory, the power is his. The struggles, they continue. I'm going through one right now with my marriage. It's not a thing no more. Before it broke me down, I crumbled, and I messed up a lot. And through all this, God still picked me up. I got to a point where I was sitting in my living room. My wife had left me. She left me with my children. And I was back on the drugs, and I hated everything. And this is 5 years ago. This is before I joined the community. And I was sitting in my living room and talking in my heart, because remember I told you my dad used to beat me, my brother and my mom. So when I was 32, I had already forgave him, and he had come over to. I lived in Florida at the time, and he came over for Thanksgiving, and I forgot what he was saying, but I was like, that thing, I'm grateful for everything that happened. Like, I forgive you, because thanks to all this, it gives me the motivation to give my kids everything I never had. And he got upset, and he booked up to me, and I had, there's this still, I forgave him, but there's just still this spark, this issue here that he never talked about, and so when he booked up to me, I defended myself, and he got mad, and I got pulled inside, and he just got drunk that whole night. And it was around 12 o'clock, I went out, and I told him come in, because he was like, falling, staggering. And he told me, you don't know. And I go, okay, here we go. I don't know what. He goes, you don't know. I go, cool. What don't I know? Just tell me. The reason I used to beat you when you were young is because I thought you weren't mine. I was like, damn. I'm 32 years old. And I already forgave you for all that. And I remember the next day, I do granite countertops. And the next day I went to go cut a cooktop. I cut them all the time. And I just dropped it. And I was like, wow, that messed me up. Because I was like, I didn't want to think about it. So I just wanted to tell you that, because it's going to tie into the song. And I was sitting on this in my living room, gave up, 40 years old, 41 years old. My kids were asleep. And this when I realized, like truly realized, that God is not going to come when I call him. He's not going to answer right away when I ask him a question. And I was sitting in my living room, and I didn't see not a sound. And everybody was asleep. And I was tired. I had been up for like 2 days. And in my heart, I said, where are you? I joined the church. I said the truth to my wife. That's why she got upset and left me. So it was all my fault. I accept everything, right? But I'm so destroyed because, when you do something, you want something back. You expect something back, and life is not like that. When you do something, do it because it's from your heart, and don't ever expect anything back. And at this point, I was trying to, once again, me playing God, trying to level things out. And so I was questioning God. Where are you? Where were you when I was young? I couldn't defend myself. Um, I tried, and I've tried, and I've tried, and I don't care if I'm a coward this time. I don't want to exist in this life or the next. And I was sitting just like this, and I have my gun right here, and I pull. And right when I get halfway, I hear, "What are you doing?" And I turn over, and it's my daughter's friend. She had spent the night. And I know what I was doing, and I know what I was saying. So I said, "Why?" And she paced back and forth and just stopped and looked me in the eye and said, "Because God has a plan for you." And she went back to the room. And I was like, "What?" That's when I realized God doesn't talk to you when you can call him, "Hey, I need you now," like it doesn't work like that. He's God. And at that point, I realized he's in control. All I have to do is just thank him every day. Thank him. Give him the glory, give him the power, because he can rescue anybody. I mean, this is somebody gave up in life, And the most beautiful thing is, I was confused that day, and because I was like, man, heck no, that's not a coincidence. And then I thought about how many coincidences that I had let go that passed by in my life, and it was just him calling. And I was like, man, that's crazy. But I still don't understand. Help me. And so I went to sleep. And in the morning when I woke up, I had all these flashbacks. I've been left with my skull cracked on the floor, left for dead. Had a knife to my neck, killed the next person. I've been shot at with an AK-47 for from wall to wall. I've been unloaded a clip, from one side of the street to another. And I remember all these bullets just whispering. And I never thought about anything. When I was younger, I overdosed twice. My friend saved me one time. My girlfriend saved me another time. And it's just things that I didn't care about, because at that time, I didn't care about myself. So how I was going to care about somebody else? But anyway, these flashbacks were the first things that came to my mind when I woke up the next day. And I realized, wow, what a dumbass. You've always been there. I'm the one that abandons you. And when I said that, I remember what my mom used to say. She used to say, "I abandon myself to you, Lord." And I was like, that sounds so cool, but I didn't know what it meant. And when I said, "I'm the one that abandons you," it just hit me. And I dropped to my knees, and I said, "Please, Father, forgive me for all my sins. I need help. I abandon myself to you. Do what you want with me, because I shouldn't even be here." And later that day, around 2, 3 o'clock, I get a phone call. Because in the morning, I was on fire. I was like, whoa, renewed. But I was like, I remember my prayer. I was like, "Help me, teach me, guide me. I have no idea." And around 2, 3 o'clock, I get a phone call, and it's my dad. Oh God. I go, I know this is not a coincidence, but I didn't want to answer. And by the time I picked up the phone, he hung up. And I was like, didn't want to talk to him anyway. And he sends me a text. And I open the text, and the text says, the scripture about when Jesus Christ puts the mud in the saliva of the blind man's eyes. And that's when I realized, wow, I'm the blind man. And so all this is just, just to give you a little idea of where the song is going to go. But this is called Trials and Tribulations. Through trials and tribulations, I pray for patience, to not be anxious in anything, but rather in everything. Keep prayer constant spending like a record player. Blessed is the air to remain steadfast, for when he has stood his ground, he'll receive the crown of life, which from above is handed down to those who love you with their life. Through trials and tribulations, I pray for patience. I pray for patience through trials and tribulations. Love one another, quotes the word, but I'm so used to being hurt, hated on since birth, shoved, kicked out to the curb, as if I had no value, no worth. Life's a blur, guided blind blinded, so I fell into that abyss. Pissed off and deaf from every scream, how can I engineer to hear? Clearly everything goes in and out the other ear. Nearly got beat up so much that I got numb. Too dumb to feel the things, so I cry on. Gone, used to being down, drowning that puddle of pain. Used to being soaked in the rain. Got all my heart on go, and I no longer feel a thing. No longer fear, no longer shiver. Blurry vision, dirty liver, as my heartbeat slows. How can I listen to the birds if I can't hear the symphony of their song? I don't belong to this world, so I clinged on to a string of hope as the Lord holds my hand. My kids sent me from putting the trigger and bang. Through trials and tribulations, I pray for patience, to not be anxious in anything, but rather in everything. Keep prayer constant spending like a record player. Blessed is the air to remain steadfast, for when he has stood his ground, he'll receive the crown of life, which from above is handed down to those who love you with their life. Through trials and tribulations, I pray for patience. I pray for patience through trials and tribulations. I'm so amazed, it's amazing I'm dazed, gracing at your grace. With every pace and every place that I set foot, you take me out the gazing blind, thinking dumb. Didn't even care to look behind, let's look ahead and find. Thinking from an unsound mind that I was in too deep with no vine to climb out. No way out, one way route, dead and straight. Talking dumb, mean mug, lost in the drug, and even dug in deeper. Hung out late night with the reaper, slamming cars, thinking dark, playing my cards, sparked the blunt, walked and sniffed the crooked line, dying with the devil, that's to it, who knows every evil deed. But then I got too stiff to walk, stop to think. Ask myself, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I don't deserve to live. Looking up at Jesus bleed while he looks down at me. I dropped into my knee, lost in disbelief. I can't believe he died for me to live.